Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm a bit tardy to the party, but in this video, I'll be going over my September portfolio update. As always, don't forget to smash that like button and share this video if you like this type of content so the algo gods know that I'm here, and hit subscribe if you're new so you're alerted every time I publish a new video about stocks, investing, finance, and news. But before I get started, I still have to hit you with this quick disclaimer. None of this is financial advice. You should always consult a licensed professional. With that out of the way, guys, let's hop into the video. All right, so we're going to hop over to my live portfolio here. No screenshots. All right. So we're going to be covering PLTW, NVDW, HOOW, XPay, XDTE, and MSTW. All right. So we're going to be covering just the high yield ETFs for this portfolio. Over the last month, we have just been ripping to new highs. It's been actually really, really good for this portfolio. I am up 21.25 or 26% now. And then over the last week, I'm up 11.25%. Again, we've just been hitting new highs on this portfolio. But I would not be surprised if we run out of a little bit of steam and might have some type of a pullback or a correction here in the near future. Again, I'm trying to hold on to a lot of cash to take advantage of those opportunities, but I can't tell the future, so I might open a big position here soon. I will mention that in my next video. All right, so for the day, as you guys can see, we are green. All right, we are up 2.46%. And if we take a look over at CNBC, we see that the futures are looking good. All right, NASDAQ futures up 51 basis points, S&P 500 up 32 basis points, and the Dow future up 16 basis points. All right, so I'm hoping we open green. We don't have a massive drop off, but you never know until the market opens. All right, so we're going to hop over here to Snowball Analytics. So what I'm going to do in this video, since I didn't do uploads for about 2 weeks, I missed 2 portfolio updates. So what I'm going to do is just combine those 2 updates into this video. So this is basically just going to be my, I guess full on September portfolio update. All right, so we're going to go through each of the holdings one by one. I like Snowball Analytics because it gives you guys that full transparent, view that you guys really want. A lot of you guys have questions. This dashboard really answers a lot of that. Some of you guys are asking is there NAV erosion, or what's the total return on these products, or, yield on cost, or whatever, right? This just consolidates all of that for you guys. You can pause the video anytime and take a look for yourself. All right, so first one we're going to go over is XDTE, which is the Roundhill S&P 500 0 DTE cover call ETF. All right, I just updated Snowball Analytics, so again, no screenshots here. You guys can see that the last purchase I made was back at August 19th, okay? And I haven't really been adding to this position. Again, it's underperforming the S&P 500. It does pay out every single week, which is not a bad thing, but it's just not there for me, right? It's not performing as well as I thought it would. XPay by comparison is absolutely destroying XDTE. So I may have to come up with something. I may come to a decision here soon about XDTE's future in this portfolio. I'm still very undecided. So if I do anything, of course, you guys will be one of the first to know because I will do a update video. But as you guys can see here, it's just underperforming the S&P 500, which is what you would expect because it is, again, a cover call ETF. All right, so let's scroll down. Here are the metrics a lot of people have questions about. So first and foremost, total profit, which is total return. I am up 7.7%. Capital gain, I am actually down 6.7%. All right, and you guys can see how much dividends I've received for this entire year so far, and it's not a bad number, right? That is actually helping offset a lot of the losses, a lot of the capital losses. So overall, not too bad here. Now let's take a look at how much income I got over the last 2 weeks. We have September 26th. I got paid $273, and then again in October 3rd, I got paid $276. So as you guys can see, the previous weeks, they were mostly in the 300s. And then now it seems like they had a drop off. No reason, or I have no idea why the reason is, but it is happening. So not a big deal. It's not a big, terrible deal, to be honest. I don't know. It is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, that's XDTE in this portfolio. And those were the last 2 weeks for XDTE paying me the distributions. All right. So moving on, we have XPay, and I don't know why Snowball Analytics does not update the full name, but we have XPay, which is a Target 20 managed distribution ETF from Roundhill. Okay. You guys can see right here on a total return basis, it is actually keeping up with the S&P 500 very well. It doesn't pay out every single week like XDTE does as far as distributions, but it does pay monthly, right? It does pay a monthly distribution. Not bad at all. Again, I made a large purchase back August 19th. Same with XDTE. I like to keep them, you know, in the same amounts. But I haven't really been adding to this. And this has actually recovered far better than XDTE. So again, it's just, if you guys want real life, you know, experience or you know, real life scenario or whatever you want to call it, example, you know, this is it right here. I mean, XPay is just crushing XDTE, right? So if we scroll down a bit, you guys can see I am in the green overall with XPay. And it's been a long time. I just finally broke even with the capital gain, right? So I'm finally out of the red. You know, I am up 1.1%, but on the total return, I'm up 12.1%. All right, that includes all the dividends I've been paid this year so far. So not a bad ETF in my opinion. I do like XPay. All right, so here for the dividends. Again, this is a monthly payer, so. Last month, September 11th, this paid me $1,284. Not a bad month. Is better definitely than the previous months. And then this is a stable payer for the most part. All right, let's move on to the spicier one. We have the Palantir Weekly Pay ETF, PLTW. All right, we're going to take a look here. As you guys can see, it is doing its thing. It is outperforming the S&P 500 by a wide margin. And if we scroll down, you guys can see my metrics here. All right, capital gain, I'm actually up 15.7%. But for total return, I am up 23.7%. You guys can see with the dividends right here. Not too bad. Again, you guys can pause the video if you want to take a look at this portfolio. And for the last 2 weeks, I was paid on September 23rd, $739. And then on September 30th, I was paid $1,242. Not bad. I will definitely take that. All right, moving on. We have the Roundhill Nvidia Weekly Pay ETF, NVDW. And scrolling down, you guys can see for yourself, this is absolutely just destroying the S&P 500. I mean, wow, look at that. This is absolutely destroying the S&P 500. I did make some small purchases here and there. I did buy, you know, a couple shares when I saw a dip or at least an opportunity to pick some up. You know, again, I am bullish on both Palantir and Nvidia as part of my like AI thesis plays for the next couple of years. So I plan to hold on to this ETF at least, you know, for the next couple of years. I don't know if I'll rotate out. I doubt it. But, you know, again, with these ETFs, you have volatility drag, you have path dependency problems. So it is something you just have to consider in your portfolio, and you have to just understand how these ETFs work, right? Don't just invest in it because someone on YouTube is doing it. All right. So scrolling down here are my metrics. Capital gain, I am up 18.6%. And on a total return, I am up 41.2%. That is crazy. All right. And here's how much distribution income I've made this year so far. Not too bad. Definitely, I'm going to take that. All right. So for income, let's take a look. All right. So September 23rd, NVDW paid me $457. And then for September 30th, it paid me $634. Not too bad. I will definitely take that. Moving on to Robinhood. This one has just been on an absolute slay. Like, this one has just been going up in value nonstop. Robinhood, I am so bullish on Robinhood. They got so much going for them. I think they could potentially be one of the premier fintech companies in the next couple of years. Probably part of the MAG, 15 or whatever. They're going to knock someone out of there, right? But anyways, I am bullish on Robinhood. Let's take a look at the rest. All right. So as you guys can see here, this was that massive spike. Jeez, like that. I think that was when they had a combination of getting the S&P 500 inclusion on top of having their Robinhood event and, showcasing all their new, features that they got coming out. And I think this is just sending the stock flying. So, shout out to any HOOW holders or any HOOD holders as well. I mean, this is just a stock. I don't know how anyone could not be investing in Robinhood right now. Of course, not financial advice. All right, so Robinhood again just destroy, or HOOW again is just destroying the S&P 500. We are up quite a bit. And if we look at the capital gain, I am up 28.2%. And for a total return, I am up 39.5%. All right. So again, this is not too bad. I will take that. All right. So for the last 2 weeks, September 23rd, I was paid $593. And then September 30th, I was paid $1,264. All right, moving on to MSTR, the unloved child of the bunch. All right, but I think they're having a story arc. I think, MSTR is going to rise from the ashes because it has been quite an unloved stock, right? And typically, and I'm just talking out loud here, of course, typically when stocks are at peak pessimism and they're down the worst, that is typically when people buy in, probably smart money, quote unquote. And I think MSTR is going to have an epic return for the rest of the year. We'll see, because right now Bitcoin is definitely pumping, right? This month, October, is known as Uptober in the crypto space, from what I've been told or from what I've read. So I think MSTR will benefit from the rise in Bitcoin's price. So we'll see. All right. So here is MSTW. As you guys can see, this has not been performing well at all. Actually underperforming the S&P 500, and I'm actually down in the red with this ETF, but we had a really good pump this last couple of days, so we'll see, right? Over the last week, this has just been starting to climb back up, and hopefully it can keep that momentum, but, we will see, all right? We'll see. We still have the rest of October to go through. All right, so scrolling down, these are the metrics. All right, capital gain, I am down 12.1%, but with the dividends, I'm actually up quite a bit. I'm actually up, closer to like 9% or so. Let's see, about 9.4%. So I'm actually only down in total return 2.7%, which isn't bad when you factor in, again, the dividends received. So maybe another week or two, and I should be in the green as far as total return or total profit. So that would be good. All right, so let's take a look at the last two payments. Oh, wow. Look, September 23rd, this paid me $1,075. And September 30th, this paid me $1,058. Not bad at all. And I did I did add to this position a couple of times. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, so I did add to this position a couple of times. I added when it was way down here. I think I bought, there we go. I bought about 65 shares there. I bought another 47 shares there, and then bought, another 144 shares September 10th. So I've just been slowly adding to this, this ETF, because again, I'm still very bullish on MSTR as a company. I'm still very bullish on, the Bitcoin thesis, the M2 money supply increase, rates coming down. This will be a tailwind for crypto. And, by extension, this will be a tailwind for MSTR. So, only time will tell. We'll see. All right. So how much did I actually get paid for September? All right. Of course, I'm going to show you guys how much I got paid using Snowball Analytics now. All right. Maybe not so much a notepad. All right. So according to Snowball Analytics, I've been paid for the month of September $15,626, but of course this is also including dividends from some REITs or some other stocks. September is a low volume month. It is a supposed down month, quote unquote there. So I'm not surprised that we had a small underperformance compared to the previous month, but I think with October here, I think we're going to have a blowout month. Of course we'll see how everything plays out. Interest rates are coming down, folks. I think that's tailwind. There's a lot of bullish momentum still left. All right. I think we are definitely going to see the markets hit new all-time highs before the end of the year. All right. So that's just my 2 cents. Of course, again, as always, not financial advice. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the portfolio update. With that being said, I am going to go and enjoy the rest of my day and get ready for this market open. So you guys take care, and I'll see you in the next video.